Hi, Larissa here, and I'm coming to you from my kitchen in Turkey. I'm going to show you how I'm making my green smoothie these days. It always changes a little bit, but I have a foundational recipe that I really like and a few tips to make sure that your green smoothie actually tastes good, because it should be enjoyable so that it's something you actually want to consume every day. Always you want to start with greens, and dark leafy greens are going to be the most nutrient dense. Spinach is actually, I think it's an easy one to start with because it doesn't have a strong bitter taste, but of course more nutrient density. Variety, I mean gut health, if you've heard me speak about it, the key to good gut health is diversity of plants in your diet. I mean, this is assuming you don't have digestive issues with certain plants, but we want different plants, and so we get different nutrients, but we also get different types of fiber. So I'm using spinach today, but anything you have, depending where you're living. I mean, I've used Swiss chard, kale, and then I'm also gonna be putting a lot of fresh green herbs. Most people don't think about putting these in a smoothie, but they also are super nutrient dense, and I think add really nice flavor, especially something like dill, I really like. Cilantro, parsley, basil, whatever you have locally. And bitter is better in terms of health. You know, bitter is really good for your liver, but you can also use things like romaine lettuce if you're just starting out. I mean, you could use 1 cup of spinach and 1 cup of romaine lettuce. So I'm gonna do as much as, this is a small Vitamix. So I will make it full to the top, and then I'll have basically 2 servings worth. And so I can have one now, one later, or one now, and maybe share one with my husband. So I'm gonna start by putting, and this is just to show you, you don't have to measure, you could do like 2 handfuls, but I usually put about 2 cups, and again, I'm making about 2 servings, and it's based on the capacity of my blender. About 2 cups of spinach, but it's really what I'm able to fit in here. And actually, before I put more greens, I'm gonna put a few seeds. So I always like to use this is flax seeds. Flax seeds are excellent, especially for women, can really reduce your risk of breast cancer, just 2 tablespoons a day. I always use the whole ones because I have a Vitamix, it's super powerful, it's gonna blend them really well. If you don't, then you might wanna like pre-grind them in a like coffee or spice grinder, but it's best to keep them in the refrigerator. I always buy whole ones, and if I want them ground, I do it myself and store them in the refrigerator in a glass jar. I also love chia seeds, and so I'm gonna put a tablespoon. And you don't have to put both of these. Put one or the other, but both, you know, good sources of plant-based omega-3 and a little protein in the chia. Just, again, these are superfoods that give it a more wide range of nutrients. And then I'm gonna add in some different herbs. So I really love dill, so I pre-wash these, and then I have them for a couple days. I also love to put herbs in all my salads. And here, so in season here in Turkey right now is purslane, which grows like a weed, and it's tasteless, so it's also something I throw in. I've learned though I don't throw too much because it actually is a good source of melatonin. So if you have trouble sleeping, having a salad or soup with a lot of purslane in it in the evening can really help. I'm gonna put a little bit of that. It actually is a really good plant source of omega-3s as well. Parsley, super good for the liver, also detoxifying. I'm gonna put some parsley, and so you can see that I'm already pretty full with greens. So I fill most of the blender with greens, and then even I have some chopped up cucumber. So I'm gonna put that. Actually, I'll show you what I have here. So I like to buy local Persian cucumbers that, they call them Persian cucumbers in the US, but these are local Turkish cucumbers. They don't look as pretty, but get them from small farmers, so they're more likely to be organic. apple and a pear. I really like if I have a more ripe pear, but because this one isn't very ripe, I might need to add a little other fruit. I have some frozen banana and frozen plums actually. I love ginger, really nice flavor. And again, super anti-inflammatory, lots of benefits. Lemon. So one of the keys with the green smoothie is always add lemon or lime. And just for extra creaminess, I'm gonna put in some avocado as well. And so I've already got that chopped up, but just wanted to show you. And just to speed up, I mean, you can also juice your lemon for the week and just keep it in a glass jar and then put about like 2 tablespoons, or you put some, and if you need more, add it later. Oh, there's one other green superfood that I love to put, spirulina. So spirulina is a type of algae, but it's a superfood that's, again, just really good for supporting your liver and detox and cleansing the body. Oh, got so many superfood powders. I'm really into mushroom powders these days. Mushrooms, they're just so incredible. I'm gonna do a whole nother video about them, but I've got reishi right now and lion's mane that I brought from the US. So reishi is really good for immune support. It's an adaptogen. Lion's mane, really good for focus, cognitive function. So I put one or the other, or kind of half teaspoon of each. Sometimes, not today, but sometimes I love to always have some sort of berries, and I'm really into barberries because we can get them here in Turkey and generally anywhere in the Middle East. I first had them in Iraq. They come from Iran. They're super, super, super high in antioxidants, even more than goji berries or blueberries. But here is my spirulina. So I love to put stuff in glass jars, so it's just faster and easier. I love spirulina, so I'm gonna put 2 teaspoons. If you smell spirulina, whew, it's awful. And if you just try mixing it in water and drinking it, it's awful. I can't do it. But when you put it in a smoothie with a combination, especially of like the lemon and everything, trust me, you don't taste it. I mean, my husband loves this smoothie and he's not into everything that I make. And I actually really like bee pollen, which again, it's another thing, like here in Turkey, there's lots of honey and bee pollen sold. So, you know, in terms of superfoods, it's also kind of what's easiest to get based on where you're living. So I like to put a teaspoon of that. And it changes, it's not always the same every day. Sometimes I like the bee pollen afterwards because I like a little bit of crunch, so I'll not blend it in. Cinnamon, I always put some cinnamon. Again, spices have so much medicinal power as well, lots of antioxidants and good properties, and cinnamon's good for helping to balance blood sugar. Also makes things taste great, gives it a little more sweetness without adding extra sugar, because I don't want to add too much fruit. So then basically I'm gonna pile on the rest of my fruit. If I can't fit it all, I'll just put what I can, I'll blend, and then everything will kind of go down a little bit, and then I can put the rest of the fruit, because I'll always finish it off with a frozen banana and some ice, because you want it to be chilled. And if you want to make this, you know, have more protein, I mean, you get protein from plants, but if you want to have this be higher in protein as like a full meal, then you can add a protein powder, which I'm going to end up doing. I always bring protein powder back from the US so I can get a clean plant-based protein powder. Or you could use hemp seeds, are really high in protein. And even I've done sometimes frozen white beans or frozen chickpeas, frozen black beans. You can put tofu. I mean, there's a lot of options. But I am going to add some water and then get this going. So I don't measure my water. Basically, I don't know. I mean, I pour it probably about, you'll see as it fills, about halfway, and then I start blending. If it's not really blending very well, then it means it needs more water. And then because this Vitamix is so loud, I like to put on ear protection. This is something my sister suggested because she knows all about the health of our ears. So we got to protect our health in all ways. So I'm going to put this on and start blending. Also, I'm trying to add more movement into my day. So like while you're waiting for something to cook or blend in the kitchen, you know, you can do a few push-ups or squats. Okay, so I need to add the rest of my fruit. And so I usually do 2 blends, but if you don't have a high-speed blender like this Vitamix, then I would start with just like half the greens and the water, do 1 blend, and then add your fruit and do a second blend. And your smoothie will be a little more chunky, but it will still be just as nutritious. And I did that for a long time and still made ones that tasted good. It was just the texture you have to get used to. So I always keep frozen bananas. It's one thing I love about where I'm living now in Alanya, that they have banana trees everywhere. So I get fresh local bananas. And so we'll see. I'm just gonna start with, they have these cute little bananas here. So I'm gonna start with 1 small banana. And I had some plums that weren't getting eaten, so I just took out the pits and I froze them. So I don't like to waste fruit. If something you have too much is gonna go bad, it's overripe, just freeze it, slice it, freeze it, and then anything you can throw into your smoothie. I'm gonna put a little of that. I'm gonna put some ice. I mean, one of the things to making a green smoothie taste good is making sure it's nice and chilled. I mean, if you have issues with digestion, then I wouldn't suggest making it too cold. But I prefer it. Oh, and I forgot my avocado. And, oh, I wanted to show you. So when I do ginger, I'll like cut off about 1-inch piece, but you just can peel it super easily with the back of a spoon. So you just take a spoon like this and you'll just scrape down, and it's a really easy way to take off the skin. But if you buy one you know it's organic, you can just put the skin if you have a high-speed blender. You don't need to actually peel it if it's organic. You know, avocado is optional. You might want just 1 source of healthy fat, you know, flaxseed, chia seed, or avocado. I put all 3 because I'm making this a complete meal and I just came back from the gym. So if you want something that is a bit more light, just choose 1. It's not a very ripe avocado. Forgot the lemon. Lemon is crucial. So this normally is a faster process when I'm not also talking, but I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons. Normally I just put the juice of 1 whole lemon, but if I've squeezed it into a jar, then about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Did some jumping jacks that time. They're just falling out. So now is when I taste it. It's good. I'm gonna give another tablespoon of lemon. I'll just put it all. It tastes good, but I really like extra lemon. Oh, and I didn't put my protein powder, but anyways, this video is getting long, So that's basically it. The foundation, I find I like a combination of pear and apple, but again, whatever local seasonal fruit, I vary it up. Sometimes like there's blackberries in season, they don't stay fresh very long, so I just wash them and put them in the freezer. And to serve it, if you want it more like some people don't like just something to drink, but they want to make it more of a full meal, you can make it thicker. So you would put less water, maybe an extra banana or more avocado to make it nice and thick. And then you can throw in some toppings. Sometimes I like to put in some pumpkin or sunflower seeds, a little bit of coconut flakes, and bee pollen, and then eat it with a spoon out of the bowl. Whatever you find works for you so that it's something you enjoy. And it also depends on your digestion. You know, some people have issues with certain fruits and such, and so if you can't do banana, another thing you can add to make it creamy is actually zucchini. So sometimes I have zucchini, it's gonna go bad, you know, a lot in season. If you have a garden, you can freeze it as well, raw. You put it in there, it also gives it a nice creamy texture, and again, extra plant diversity. Also cauliflower, if I have cauliflower, it's gonna go bad. I freeze it, and ideally you wanna freeze it before it's about to go bad, so it's like fresh as possible, but again, not to waste. Frozen, but first blanch the cauliflower and then freeze it. So many things, too much to add into this video, but I just wanted to share what my green smoothie looks like, and then ask me any questions you have in the comments. And if you try making green smoothie and it didn't taste great, like send me a message, let me know what you used, and I can give you some guidance and tips to help you make sure your green smoothie is something that you can enjoy. Green smoothie is something that's really good for energy, just like packing a ton of nutrients and fiber, but make sure, this is really important, make sure that you chew your smoothie. That sounds weird. I mean, yes, it helps if you put it in a bowl and put some topping. Sometimes that forces you to chew, but you want to make sure for optimal digestion that you don't just chug it, but you still need to like mix the smoothie. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just mix it a little bit with the saliva in your mouth first, because that's where the breakdown in digestive, you know, our digestive process, the breakdown of carbohydrates and you know, some of the protein, fat begins in our mouth. And so if you chug your smoothie, then it's gonna be harder to digest as well. And you wanna just drink it slowly, and also do it without distractions. Just like any other meal, you really want to be mindful while you're eating and not just chugging it while you're like busy starting your work day. I mean, I'm guilty of sometimes being tempted to do that, but it doesn't take much time to just give yourself 10-15 minutes to slowly enjoy it. So have a glass jar, and then you can put half of it for later, and then I'll have half of it now. So if you watched till the end, thank you. I hope you found this helpful, and do let me know if you make one and how it went. Bye for now.